Hello my dear students, I am Mudassir Khan from the Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Jamia Millia Islamia, and today we have come for the 15th lecture on travel documentation of Introduction to Travel and Tourism Management course. Many rules and laws have a direct or indirect impact on tourism. Therefore, any student planning to work in the industry should be informed of the most recent laws and travel requirements and documentation that must be made before starting any international or domestic journey. Before travelers can leave their country or enter another country, they must complete a number of requirements which is beneficial for both tourists and the host country. While certain travel formalities are optional, the majority are mandatory. Before the client leaves on a vacation, the following travel formalities and documentation must be fulfilled: passport, visa, vaccine certificates, travel insurances, foreign currency, permits for restricted areas, and we will discuss these documents in detail today. So, what is a passport? A passport is a legal document that a nation's competent public authority issues to its citizen in order to facilitate hassle-free travel across all the nation ports and borders. It is a document of the highest legal standing. It is a booklet that the Ministry of External Affairs issues to the holder in India. The passport is the holder's global identification, displaying their nationality to the rest of the world. Every traveler leaving the country must have a passport or other formal identification documents. These credentials confirm the holder's identity and nationality and grant them permission to leave their home country. Different countries have different public institutions authorized to issue passports and other forms of identity. A passport is an official document that is issued by a government or other competent public body identifying the traveler as a citizen or national of a country, providing information about him or her, including a photograph, and recognizing the traveler's right to enter and leave the country again. In addition to containing information about the passport holder's national identity, passport typically include requests that the port or border be left open for them to pass through without any obstruction, and that they would be provided with the protection and aid as needed. A passport grants a citizen or national the right to leave their country and right to return. The following information on the passport holder is often found on all the passport. Though it may differ from nation to nation, there are certain details required on it: family or last name, nationality, location of birth, date of passport being issued, signature of the holder, father or legal guardian's name, date of birth, place at which passport is issued, holder's picture, mother's name, spouse's name, validity date, children's address, validity for specific nations and limitation to other places visited, citizenship status, and passport category. Currently, India issues 4 different types of passport: blue passport for general public, white passport for government official, diplomatic passport traveling to foreign countries for work, orange passport for individuals who have not studied beyond 10th class and who requires ECR. The following are the unique types of documents that can be used in place of a passport. These were issued under unique conditions: the bona fide certificate issued to domiciles for travel to Nepal or Bhutan, pass for pilgrims, continuous discharge certificates given to sailors, military IDs, defense personnel are given this in order for naval ships to pay friendly visits. Compared to the previous specified documents, the status of the passport is substantially higher. The fundamental distinction here is that unlike a passport which can be used for any kind of travel, the documents indicated above are unique papers that are only granted for certain types of travel. Duty of the travel agent. The travel agent should ensure that the passport is valid for both the country the client is traveling and the length of the time the client plans to stay in that country. A passport is often issued for a period of 10 years and is generally good for travel around the world. It is to be noted in the passport if the passport is not valid in a particular nation. The travel information manual also contains detailed information that the agent can access. It is represented through TIM. The passport bearer should always be informed of the following. The passport is a priceless record. It must always be either in the owner's custody or custody of someone who has been lawfully authorized by the owner. It cannot be changed or harmed in any way. Giving false information on a passport application is illegal. Keeping a copy of the passport in a secure location without this, it may take longer to issue a duplicate passport in the event of loss, damage or theft. When acquiring a passport for the first time, one should verify the expiration date and get it renewed before expiry. In case if a passport is lost while traveling overseas, the possessor should take the following action: inform the embassy right away, file a police complaint, notify the passport agency that issues passports and obtain from the consulate a certificate or travel document that would permit travel. Let us now see the documents needed for passport application. Online registration is required for passport application and printouts of the forms are available. In addition, individuals can submit the form in person at the corresponding district passport offices or passport offices directly. One must provide the following items in addition to the application form: photographs, proof of address, evidence of birth date, citizenship certificate, identity certificate, affidavit and marriage certificate for changing a married person's name on a passport, authority letter for travel agents only, supplementary records. These are required as immigration proof for status of immigration, clearance not required. A consent letter from both parents is needed when they are minors involved, along with the copies of parents' passport. Following service are available from the passport office for a set cost: a fresh passport with 36 pages which is also issued upon the renewal after expiry of 10 years, a new 60-page jumbo passport which is also issued upon renewal after expiry of 10 years, a new passport with a 5-year validity period for minor children under 18, an extra booklet with 36 pages, a 60 pages additional jumbo booklet for people who travel frequently outside India, a duplicate passport in place of a lost or damaged one, a change in name. Extending passports with a limited validity in place of lost or damaged passports, document for emergency travel, emergency travel document renewal, identity document, identity certificate renewal, signature on an identity document, issuing duplicate identification document, Tatkal scheme where under short period of time passport is issued under certain conditions. Let us talk about visa, which is the second most important document required to travel abroad. A visa is a document that authorizes a citizen of one nation to enter another country for a predetermined amount of time and for a predetermined reason. The visa is applied to a passport as either an or rubber stamp. As a result, the passport may be submitted at the time the visa application is made. Some nations give visas in loose format rather than having them stamped into the traveller's passport. In this instance, the passport contains no entry. Typically, a visa is sought via the consulates and embassies of the nation to which travel is intended. It could be necessary to ship the passport abroad to obtain a visa if there is no representative in the nation to grant one. In this situation, the applicant must be in good standing in the nation from which he or she is applying. It could be required for the individual who needs the visa to obtain the visa upon arrival if they are not the nation's resident or citizen. The visa can also be obtained upon arrival in selected nations. A visa is an entry made in a passport or other travel document by a consular representative of a government indicating that the bearer has been given permission to enter or re-enter the relevant country. There are two types of visas, single entry and multiple entry. Even though the validity date has not passed, a single entry visa loses its validity once it has been used. Multiple entrance visas have a validity period that ends on the day of expiration. The visa system is crucial because it enables immigration officials to keep track of the number of travelers who are likely to enter and exit a nation. Typically, a bilateral agreement between two countries governs visa requirements. Types of visas. In some nations, visas are also known as permits. There are numerous distinct visa kinds and they may go by various names depending on the country. Visitor visa, additionally known as entry visa, entry permits, business visa, travel pass, etc. A foreign national has the right to enter the country with this visa for a brief stay. Transit permit. This is typically necessary for travelers passing through one nation into another and in some situation even when continuing their flights. Transit without visa. Except in some circumstances, a traveler who needs to spend a few hours in airport transit zone in order to switch planes is typically exempted from needing a transit visa. This exception will be listed under transit without a visa TWOV. Permit for re-entry. These licenses enable travelers to return to their home country when needed. Exit permit. A traveler who has an exit visa is allowed to leave a nation. Citizens may need these licenses or visa in order to leave their home country. Exit visas may be necessary for expatriates or foreign nationals to leave the country they were traveling through. Schengen visa. The Schengen visa is a pact between 27 European Union members to eliminate immigration restriction on travel inside and between these nations. The Schengen area, which includes this no border area, was established in the year 1995. Conditions for visa. Let us discuss some of the general documentation requirements that apply to obtaining a visa. An original passport that is valid 6 months after the completion visa expiry. Most recent passport size photos, which is as per the requirement of the country of travel. The applicant's signature on the visa application must match the signature on their passport, and international health insurance policy that covers the entire trip. A copy of a global credit card or a foreign currency must be attested in the passport. A letter of introduction on business letterhead that includes the applicant's name, title, visit, purpose and duration. A covering letter from the applicant outlining the visit's duration and intended purpose for travel, tourism purpose. A partnership agreement must be enclosed for partnership companies. The articles of association and memorandum for private limited companies. Original tax documents for the last 3 years, a minimum of 3 to 6 months of original bank statements or passbooks, title documents, certificates for fixed deposits, no objection certificate if employed by the government. For salaried individuals, Form 16A, a salary slip or TDS, if retired, a letter of retirement or pension document. For newlywed couple, a marriage certificate, wedding card or wedding photos. If a minor is travelling without parents, parents must sign a certificate stating that they have no objection. If students, a genuine certificate or identification card from the school. ECNR status, a settlement from the husband or father stating that they have no objection to a woman travelling alone. The appropriate fee must be paid. First time traveller may be required to have a personal interview by the consulate. From the nation to nation, different visa rules apply. The embassies or consulate travel agents should examine these. Visa rejection. Visa can be rejected due to some of the factors like if an applicant has engaged in fraud or misinterpretation in the application, does not have a valid reason for the tip, does not have a lodging in the destination country, does not have a visible source of food, has not organized his or her transportation, does not have a valid health or travel insurance for the destination, possesses a criminal history or is now facing criminal charges, is viewed as a security risk. Visa applications denied previously resides in a country in a nation with whom the host country does not have diplomatic relations, having a contagious illness, is pregnant and has reached a matured state. Health regulation for international travelers. The World Health Organization develops and updates international sanitary standards and suggests countermeasures against the global spread of epidemics. According to WHO guidelines, it is required that travelers from affected areas receive vaccination against diseases including the plague, cholera, yellow fever, hepatitis, etc. A legitimate immunization certificate that has been authorized by the WHO must be filled out and signed by an appropriate official. The required vaccine may be administered by a family physician or an official health authority. When travelers achieve the required vaccine, the doctor issues them a health certificate. There are two different immunization, those that are required and those that are advised. Only a few nations demand the mandatory immunizations. Certain vaccinations may be advised by some nations, particularly for travel who frequently travel outside of urban areas. Therefore, it is important to encourage the travelers to obtain a health certificate attesting to their vaccination against a certain infections, diseases like yellow fever or cholera. If they are unable to provide the same, they risk being sent back abroad or being imprisoned and placed in quarantine. The WHO Worldwide Certificate of Vaccination is often available via medical offices, physicians and regulatory bodies for public health. The name of the vaccination, the date and the signature of the relevant authorities in the issuing nation are required for the certificate of vaccination to be legitimate. As the duration of protection provided by vaccinations varies greatly, travelers should keep a record of their vaccination along with the date. Restricted areas special permit. There are often no limitation on mobility inside India for domestic and sovereign tourists. However, visitors to the border states and the islands of Andaman, Nicobar and Lakshadweep must obtain a special entry permit. Only foreigners must get a permission in some locations. Regulations for custom. The traveler have to go through a customs inspection and pay a charge that varies from country to country. Conventionally, a visitor was allowed to bring his personal effect, which should be recognized as a duty-free allowance and allowed free of charge, provided that none of the items included in the personal effects were intended for commercial use. Today, several nations have developed their own unique border laws. You can get information on each nation's rules through travel agencies, government, information centers, public transportation providers, TIM, etc. Regulations governing the passage of goods and animals between the nations are referred to as customs regulations. Certain goods cannot be imported or exported and each country has its own regulations. If the traveler bring more than the allotted number of permissible items, a duty is due. The duty that the custom officers collect is a source of income for the nation. Most nations permit discounts on specific goods. The customs authorities use a two-channel system in order to clear incoming travelers' customs. Those are green channel for travelers without any taxable items and red channel for travelers carrying duty-paying items. Currency या foreign exchange. There is no restriction on who can bring foreign currency into India from a location outside of India. However, in the following circumstances, a currency declaration form must be used to declare foreign currency or exchange. When foreign currency notes are worth more than 5,000 United States dollar or their equivalent, or when the total value of foreign cash including banknotes, traveler checks and other items exceeds more than 10,000 United States dollar or equal Indian currency cannot be imported. However, individuals who are ordinarily residents of India are returning from a trip abroad are permitted to import up to 25,000 rupees of Indian cash. Imports of pets. Imports of domestic pets such as dogs, cats, birds, etc. are allowed. Only 2 pets including dogs and cats may be imported at a time per passenger and they must be accompanied by necessary health documentation from their place of origin and undergo inspection by the relevant quarantine officer. Travel limit. The basic travel quota BTQ scheme allows permanent Indian nationals to acquire foreign currency up to 10,000 United States dollar or its equivalent for making one or more private trips abroad. Direct purchases of foreign currency can be made from any branch of an authorized dealer or from a full service money changer FFMC. Immigration and emigration. Immigration refers to the process of leaving a country. Immigration refers to the process used to enter a certain nation. The primary responsibility of immigration department is to ensure that each individual has the proper identification, including a valid passport, health records and visas. The immigration check is performed by police officers. One needs to get immigration clearance anywhere else besides Pakistan and Bangladesh. All passengers flying out of India must be cleared by customs officials. Only legitimate luggage may be cleared by the traveller. There is a procedure that must be followed for passengers leaving India to obtain and export certificates from the customs official for jewellery and other high value products. They must list the expensive products on a form for tourist baggage re-exportation. Such an export certificate is useful while transporting items back to India so that no duty is applied to the passengers' exported goods. This document is completed by arriving tourists as well, ensuring that the pricey items are returned upon leaving. The Office of Protector of Immigrants POE in India conducts immigration checks. Therefore, it is required to have an immigration check before leaving the country. If not, one won't be permitted to exit the nation. Graduates, minors, income tax payers, doctors, women whose husbands work on ships and other individuals are exempted from the requirement for an immigration check. They have an ECNR stamp in their passport. People frequently leave the nation with no means of support and are frauded elsewhere. The POE office was formed to safeguard these individuals and prevent fraud against them. Therefore, in order to stop the immigration check, a return ticket is needed. Airport immigration has a distinct responsibility other than the immigration protector. Police officers work for airport authority and conduct the immigration check. They look for fraud cases, convicted criminals, etc. Everywhere in the world, the process is the same. However, one will not be permitted to travel if they have a suspended POE office immigration check but an airport immigration check. Taxes. Travelers are required to pay a number of taxes like airport fees. All airport fees are incorporated into the price of ticket and are not extra. Any discounts offered by the travel agents are only valid on basic fare. Other forms of taxes include port tax levied on cruise ships that dock. Other taxes are imposed including service tax, excise tax, customs, duty, local levies and luxury tax on room rates. Travel protection through insurance. Travelers should purchase travel insurance to protect themselves against unforeseen events like illness, accidents or death that may occur while they are away from home. Travel insurance or an overseas Mediclaim insurance policy is an insurance against any unfortunate incidents involving a person's health and well-being that necessitates quick medical attention and is not a regular health insurance policy. The majority of the policies typically covers the following cases like medical cost, dentist visits, loss of baggage, baggage arrival delays, passport losses, personal accidents and other dangers, burglary, trip cancellations or interruptions due to financial emergency, incomplete connectivity, travel delay or bounced reservation. With this, we come to the conclusion of this class in which we discuss travel formalities are laws that are important for the benefit of both the visitors and host nation. They include having a current passport which demonstrates the holder's nationality and enables them to cross borders or ports of entry without difficulty. Passports also grant holders the right to seek aid abroad and the ability to return home. It serves as an identification and contains personal data. A visa is a document that enables a national of one country to enter another. The embassies and the consulates of the nations to which travel is desired issue it. It might be added to the passport given separately or upon entry. Health laws are in place to safeguard visitors' health and stop the spread of contagious diseases. At all points of entry and exits, custom inspections are required and products are subject to the appropriate custom duties. Due to the excessive medical costs charged overseas, it is advisable to purchase travel insurance before starting on a foreign vacation. Before departing on an international journey, the travel agent has a responsibility to make sure the traveler has all the necessary valid documents. The trip may be delayed or cancelled if the required paperwork is not in order. You will find the reference to the topics covered in this session in the following books and websites mentioned before on this slide, which may be used for better understanding. So, that would be all for today's session. Thank you, my dear students, for attending this session. You may write to me at the ID mentioned on the slide here. See you all in the next lecture. Till then, goodbye and